welcome back. In case you missed it, today we had some news. If you're a Carlton supporter, it concerns you. Liam Jones has retired. Interesting. Very, very interesting, and for a number of reasons. Look, I thought I'd just share my thoughts on the issue, my take on what's going on, how it's going to affect us next year. Yeah, there's a lot to talk about and a lot to unpack, so let's just get right in. And before I do hop in, make sure to show your support on the show, like the video, and subscribe. We're close to 100, so yeah, plenty of sports content coming your way. But now onto the video. Liam Jones, yeah, obviously I think he was going at 500k a year, and he's passed that up because he doesn't want the jab. Obviously Carlton and him couldn't come to an agreement as to what would be the right thing to do. You know, it's a shame because this guy, you know, I think it's been well documented over the years how he's been able to rescue his career. I think one of the good things that Mick Malthouse did, mind you, there weren't too many, was he was the guy that pioneered the move, Liam Jones, to go into the backline. Because obviously, if you look at his career, sorry for the lighting, by the way, it's really shit. Liam Jones started off at the Bulldogs as a forward, wasn't great, you know, he was fringe. Came to Carlton, he was also fringe, and, you know, played forward, didn't have much of an impact. Goes to the VFL, his career looks like it's pretty much done and dusted, and then he gets an opportunity in the backline. And, well, he's become one of the better defenders in the league. I mean, I think he's been one of the best one-on-one defenders, at least in the last couple of years, and that's something we're going to be missing a lot of. I mean, Wiedering with his intercept marking, and, you know, Liam Jones with some really courageous efforts. I mean, those, you know, trademark aerial chess marks, you know, usually you've got him out here, but he just tucked it under. And, you know, were a lot of highlights consisting of that. But we're going to be missing that now. And I think it's going to raise a number of questions about how we approach this backline thing. But yeah, I mean, we've got a number of options. Marchbank is, well, hopefully he's coming back in. So, I mean, this could present a number of opportunities. This could be a Mitch McGovern career revival, because obviously he's been in no man's land for the last couple of years. Liam Jones, forward, turned back. Could be the same for McGovern. Even though McGovern has already sort of played backline before, he could cement himself as a really good backline player. You've also got Lewis Young, who we brought in to play, I think, defensively. And now with this news coming in, it could be a big opportunity for him to break into the best 22 of a football side and have a huge impact. We've also got Brody Kemp, who played late in the season, a couple of chances to prove his worth. And he'll get that opportunity even more next year. He's a bit smaller than Liam Jones, but I think he's shown glimpses of how athletic he is and his versatility. He can go forward, and I think, as you know, when he was younger, he could play, you know, in the middle as a junior. So, yeah, there's plenty of options in that department. It'll remain to be seen what actually ends up happening. As for, you know, this whole debacle itself, I mean, there's been a culmination of events in the last week. You know, first and foremost, it was Carlton players unvaxxed. We didn't know who it was. Then there was a bit of a Twitter rumor that went around. Liam Jones is the guy. Ultimately, it ended up getting leaked. And it's been lingering, you know, the last few weeks. I mean, there's a certain point where, you know, you have to make that decision, and, you know, you have to get vaxxed. And if you don't get vaxxed, you're on the inactive list, or they terminate your contract. There's so many different implications for how this all works. But I think they pulled the trigger very early. You know, I think they had 3 weeks to make a decision. But ultimately, I think Jonesy just stood firm with what he was believing in. And, you know, I guess you can't really argue with that. Some people say they've lost respect for the guy. And it's really weird how people say that. For a number of reasons. Number one, he's sticking by what he believes in. He stood firm. He's not giving in. Fair play to him. Number two, he's still getting a punishment. He's not getting away with anything, so I don't really understand why people are getting offended by his decision. Like, he's not affecting anyone. He's made the decision, you know, rationally and consciously. Obviously, you know, we've had the Sam Doherty chemo problem again, with the cancer re-emerging, so stuff like that, you know, with a weaker immune system. He doesn't want to endanger Doherty as well and his health, which is really sensible of him. But look, like stuff like that, I don't really understand where people are finding ways to disrespect. Sure, he doesn't want the vax, and some of you may be like, well, he's bad because he doesn't want the vaccine. And I mean, I've got the vax. It doesn't matter though. Like, if you don't want to get the vax, you don't need to get it. But look, in saying that, like, as I said before, he's not hurting anyone. He's not endangering anyone. He's made this decision, you know, based on his beliefs. And, you know, it's really as simple as that. It's not that hard to comprehend. I shouldn't have to explain it any further. I think it's a big shame because, as we mentioned earlier, with his re-emergence of his career, this is the way it had to end. You know, he even had like an injury for a month or so at the back half of the year, so he never really had a retirement game or a sending off of any means. This is just a really abrupt and sad way to end your career, especially, you know, how hard you've worked to get back into a good position to perform. He's done so well, given where he was at, and I think this will affect Jacob Wiedering as well, because that partnership was pretty strong, pretty firm, pretty deadly, and now we've got to find the replacement who is going to be that guy that fills this big void, because I think Jonesy has been really important. Even though our backline was iffy at times last year, I think without those two, Wiedering and Jones, we could have had even more problems. People say Liam Jones sucks. Well, go back to the Sam Rowe days and have a look at that. Alex Silvani, them lot, you know, we were really lacking a good defender, a good key defender, and now we've got two of them. Hopefully, yeah, we can reinvent someone else's career or just convert them into this absolutely powerhouse key defender. But look, I guess this was the move that the club needed to make. Yeah, it needed to be made. We were just going to be at a standoff for ages and a bit of indecision. You know, Michael Voss probably has a plan going into the off-season, what he wants to do with all three lines, forward, midfield, back. And if this indecision kept going on and on, we're going to have a lot of problems. And there won't be as much, I don't know, stability within the club. Or at least within the back line as to who's going to play where, who's going to replace. You don't know if you're replacing someone. But yeah, we've got it all confirmed now. And look, I'm gutted that we've lost him in this way. I mean, hopefully he gets the vax and he comes back in some way, shape or form. But odds are, if he's got a belief, he's probably going to stick to it. And that's probably the last we're going to see of Liam Jones on a football field. So pretty disappointing. But look, we've just got to move forward and focus on the task ahead. That is my take regarding the Liam Jones situation. If you enjoyed, as mentioned, drop a like on the show and subscribe. Also share your thoughts in the comments as to what you think about this situation. I will respond to it. I want to start a little bit of a dialogue as to what's going on really. These news videos tend to do well, so yeah, hope you enjoyed as I just said. And yeah, have a great rest of your day. I haven't done a football video in a while, so yeah, hope you enjoyed this one. Peace out.